welcome back to a brand new video, and today I'm going to be reading you The Tale of Tricky Fox. Once upon a time began the kindly teacher in the woods that aren't so very far away. And at the bottom it says 0 plus 1 equals 1, 1 plus 1 equals 2, 2 plus 1 equals 3 in the background, and it looks like she's reading a book. Tricky Fox was bragging to Brother Fox, stealing chickens. It is too easy, said Tricky Fox. I'm going to get me a fat pig. I'll eat my hat if you do, said Brother Fox. There ain't no fox in the whole wide woods that can even carry a fat pig. I could, said Tricky Fox, if I was too fool a human into putting one into a sack for me, I could. I'll show you. And Tricky Fox, he picked up his sack and he ran off into the woods. Tricky Fox ran and he ran and then kept on running until just before it started getting dark. Then he stopped and he picked up a little piece of log and he put it into his sack. Then he knocked on the door of a nearby cottage. When a lady opened the door, Tricky Fox hunched over. He was feeble. I can't say that. I don't know what it says. It says F-E-E-B-L-E. Feeble? I don't know. Feeble. I'll just say feeble. I'll say feeble. Okay, when a lady opened the door, Tricky Fox hunched over like he was feeble, and in a rickety voice he said, I'm on my way to Bonny Bunny Bay. The night grounds cold and I'm so old, please let me say. Stop it. The lady felt sorry for him, and she said, okay, I'll let you say, but no tricks. Oh no, said Tricky Fox, I'm so worn out I can't think of anything but curling up in a fort of your fire. I'm just worried about my sack is all I don't like for anyone I look in it, and I'm too tired to guard it. Don't worry, said the lady. Leave it with me. I won't look in your sack. I know you won't, grinned Tricky Fox, and he handed her his sack and pretended to fall asleep. Here's the page. went to bed, she couldn't resist a quick peek into that sack, even though she said she wouldn't. Just a piece of log, she said to herself. Then she blew out the light, pulled up her covers, and fell asleep. Pretty soon, Tricky Fox heard her snoring. Quiet, quiet. He went over tippy-toe, tippy-toe, pulled out that piece of log, and he put it on the fire. Then he went to sleep, sure enough. In the morning, Tricky Fox held up his empty sack and he said, "What's happened to my loaf of bread? You didn't have the lady began to say, and then she stopped herself, remembering that she wasn't supposed to know what was in the sack. "I don't rightly know," she said to embarrassed to admit the truth. "I must have been the nice mice. I'll give you a loaf of mine." She opened up her bread box and put a loaf of bread into Tricky Fox's sack. "Thank you very kindly. Thank you very kindly," said Tricky Fox, and he took the sack and he ran off into the woods. And then he sang his sassy song. "I'm so clever, tee hee hee. Trick, trick, tricky, yes sirree. Snap your fingers, slap your knee. Human folks ain't so smart like me." All day long, Tricky Fox, he hung out in the woods until just before it started getting dark again. Then he knocked on the door of another nearby cottage. A lady opened the door, and Tricky Fox hutched over, and in a rickety voice he said, "I'm on my way to Bonnie Benny Bay. The night grows cold and I'm so old. Please let me say." This lady felt sorry for him too, and she said, "Okay, I'll let you stay, but no tricks." "Oh no," said Tricky Fox, "I'm just worried about my sack is all. I don't like for anyone to look in it, and I am too tired to guard it." "Don't worry," said the lady. "Just leave it with me. I won't look in it." But even so, the lady couldn't resist a quick peek into the sack. "Either just a loaf of bread," she said to herself, and went to sleep. When Tricky Fox heard her snoring, "Quiet, quiet, quiet," he went over tippy-toe, tippy-toe, took out his loaf of bread, and he gobbled down the whole thing. Then he went to sleep sure enough. The next morning, Tricky Fox held up his empty sack, and he said, "What's happened to my chicken?" "You didn't have a," the lady began, and then she stopped herself, remembering that she wasn't supposed to know what was in the sack. I don't rightly know," said the lady, too embarrassed to admit the truth. "It must have flown out of the window. I'll give you one of mine." And she took the sack and she headed to her hen house. When she was gone, Tricky Fox, he danced around and he laughed, and he sang his sassy song. "I'm so clever, tee-hee-hee, trick, trick, trickery, yes sirree, snap your fingers, slap your knee, human folks ain't smart like me." And when he came back, Tricky Fox took the sack and he ran off with it. All day long, Tricky Fox hung out in the woods until just before it started getting dark again. Then he knocked on the door of another nearby cottage. Came to the door, and Tricky Fox hunched over, and in a rickety voice he said, "I'm on my way to Bonnie Bunny Bay. The night grows cold and I'm so old. Please let me stay." This lady felt sorry for him too, and she said, "Okay, I'll let you stay, but no tricks." "Oh no," said Tricky Fox, "I'm just worried about my sack is all. I don't like for anyone to look in it. I am too tired to guard it." "Don't worry," said the lady. "Just leave it with me. I won't look in it." It's like Tricky Fox is it looks like Tricky Fox is going to cottages and doing the exact same thing over and over again just to get food. But this lady couldn't resist a little peek either. "Just a chicken," she said to herself, and she went to sleep. And just as it happened before, when Tricky Fox heard her snoring, he went over quiet, tippy, tippy, tippy toe, tippy toe. And he took out that chicken and he let it loose. A lady came to the door, and Tricky Fox hunched over, and in rickety voice he said, "I'm on my way to Bonnie Bee Bay. The night grows cold." Hold on. Did I skip a page? Yeah, I skipped a couple pages. Sorry, guys. This is the page that I'm supposed to be on. In the morning, Tricky Fox held up his sack and he said, "What's happened to my pig?" "You didn't have a," the lady began to say, and then she stopped herself, remembering that she wasn't supposed to know what was in the sack. I don't rightly know, she said, too embarrassed to admit the truth. Must have slipped out of the door. I'll give you one of mine. And she took Tricky Fox's sack and she headed to her pig pen. When she was gone, Tricky Fox danced around and he laughed and he sang his sassy song. I'm so clever, tee-hee-hee. Tricky, yes sirree. Snap your fingers, slap your knee. Human folks ain't smart like me. But Tricky Fox hadn't counted on one important thing, and that was the particular lady was a teacher, and as a regular humans are, and this lady had gotten suspicious, and she came around the side of her house, and she watched through the window as Tricky Fox danced and laughed and sang a sassy song of his. That rascal, she said to herself. I'll fix him. And instead of going over to her pig pen, she went over to her doghouse. And instead of putting a pig into Tricky Fox's sack, she put in her bulldog. And then she brought it back, and Tricky Fox hefted that doesn't make any sense. It says HEFTED it onto his shoulder, and he ran off. When Tricky Fox got home, Brother Fox was waiting for him, and when Brother Fox saw the sack, which looked for all the world like there were a fat pig inside of it, he sadly took off his hat, and true to his word, he began biting and chewing until it was gone. Then Tricky Fox untied the sack, and to their sorry surprise, out jumped that lady's bulldog. And that bulldog, he bit and below and bit and high, and he made the fur just fly, fly, fly. And then he chased him off to the woods. And because of what happened that day, said the teacher, every fox in the woods had learned a lesson and much more respectful of humans. And because of what happened, you never hear foxes singing sassy songs. And because of what happened, you never see one wearing a hat. And that's I just read the tale of Tricky Fox. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. Okay. Make sure to subscribe and hit that bell button and comment on the vid, and what was it? I think I already said like the video, but still like the video. And goodbye, guys. Have a good day.